Until the SACP and the ANC have reached an agreement on the Communist Party's decision to contest the 2026 local government elections alone, its members must recuse themselves from ANC election structures. This was just one of the resolutions of the ANC's 5th National General Council that concluded yesterday. Now, the SACP's decision concerns the ANC as many of its members have dual membership to both parties, with implications on which party to vote and campaign for. Now, for more on this and the ANC's 5th National General Council, we are now joined by SABC politics reporter Samkele Maseko. He joins us now via our video link. And Samkele, thank you so much for your time this evening. Let's start off here. I mean, the ANC's NGC came and wrapped up. We were expecting fireworks from this meeting. Would you say that the ANC's NGC has been a success?
Well, from where I'm sitting at, it does certainly look like they had a very successful NGC that was scandalous, and particularly noting that it focused more on organizational matters. On the second day, the first day was utilized for the opening address by party president, the midterm review of the Secretary General, who received a standing ovation from the plenary, and ultimately the last 2 days were used for policy debates, particularly around economic transformation, organizational renewal, the battle of ideas and communications, and ultimately other commissions, peace and stability, international relations that were taking place, particularly with that emphasis on the International Relations Commission, where they resolved that parliamentary diplomacy must now supersede that of the executive in order to try and have less of the South African government engaging with the administration of President Trump, but go to Congress and go to the Senate, particularly noting that there will be midterm elections next year around November in the United States of America. We've already seen that in Miami, the Democrats have taken that particular city. The Democrats have taken New York as well. It does certainly look like there will be a whitewash when you go to the midterms in the United States of America, where the Senate and Congress may ultimately then change hands into the hands of the Democrats as opposed to the Republicans at this point in time. You look at in issues of economic transformation, which is the commission the president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, was in, which looked at coming from the backdrop of the G20 resolutions on leveraging on African minerals, the economic transformation of South Africa, a key factor for the president of the African National Congress, Thabo Mbeki, the former president, going to organizational building and renewal. Former President Motlanthe was in the Battle of Ideas Commission, which is communications.
And Samkele, looking at the address from the ANC's president Cyril Ramaphosa, particularly highlighting issues around the SACP, they are contesting elections on their own next year, and this just follows after the ANC dismally lost at the elections last year. What ramifications does this have now for the ANC, particularly at a time where the president of the party has asked for the SACP to remove itself from the party's election structures?
You'd remember that there was an elections workshop of the ANC in Mpumalanga in Witbank, Middleburg, which was addressed by the ANC's first Deputy General Secretary, Nomvula Mokonyane, where the SACP was present in that meeting. When she got to the podium, she asked all SACP leaders who were sent by the party to that elections workshop to recuse themselves because they are contesting the ANC, and the ANC cannot plan with them. So that particular stance that was started by Nomvula Mokonyane ultimately found expression in the ANC's National General Council, where it did not take the punitive measure of pulling the trigger but not entering the chamber, but it ultimately took a decision to say, if you are sent by the party, by the South African Communist Party, to go to the ANC's elections planning workshops or planning machinery, you've got to recuse yourself. So the ANC is saying to the party, do not send your deployees to come to ANC's elections planning war rooms. Recuse yourselves until this particular matter of you contesting is resolved. So the ANC does not want to plan with the party. The issue of dual membership, they've left that. They've not entertained that particular debate. They've just said that if you are Dr. Alex Mashilo, sent by the party to the ANC's elections committee, you must not attend those meetings. You are not welcome until the issue of you contesting and the modality is resolved.
And Samkele, once again, I mean, we thought that we'd see some remnants of a succession within the ANC during this National General Council. What would you say in terms of succession? Has it shown any murmurs of who may succeed the party president going into the next elective conference of the ANC? I mean, some critics saying that it seems as if Fikile Mbalula, the Secretary General of the party, has come out a bit stronger. What do you have to say about those comments?
Well, what we have seen at this National General Council was no ordinary National General Council. It was not like the 2010 National General Council in Durban when Julius Malema was still in the ANC, particularly when they were pushing for the 7 cardinal pillars: land expropriation, nationalization of the strategic sectors of the economy, nationalization of the banks, and state ownership of the banks within the country. That rowdiness was not there within this National General Council, and fierceness and fierce contestation between Jacob Zuma, Kgalema Motlanthe. This time around, it was not there. At this NGC, it was not like 2015 as well between Jacob Zuma's camp and Cyril Ramaphosa's camp. It was not like this. This time around, it was more subtle. The only instance where you got of an indication of what is to come was with the standing ovation for the Secretary General of the African National Congress, Fikile Mbalula, where the delegates started chanting Siphethu Nobhalo on a content, all of them at the end of his midterm review, basically praising the Secretary General. And you could just see that he was in touch with the structures of the African National Congress, the regional secretaries, and also going to some provincial secretaries, except Tembeka Ngcukaitobi, except Lulama Ngcukaitobi, the older brother of Tembeka, African Tembeka Ngcukaitobi, who was not present, who sent an apology to the National General Council. But it does certainly look like Fikile Mbalula is within the structures, but you've got the likes of Togoti Diza, who's been raised to be a strong candidate of the ANC Women's League, supposedly. Then you've got the likes of Paul Shipoko Samashatile, the deputy president, who has won his region in Johannesburg with allegedly Nomvula Mokonyane, with Loiso Masugu being branded to be with Nomvula Mokonyane, Sasabona Manganyi being branded to be with the deputy president Paul Mashatile, and Fikile Mbalula losing out on that Johannesburg regional conference. You've got the Tshwane regional conference sitting this weekend. But this NGC, those caucuses may have taken place in the evening, but at the conference venue, it was about policy, it was about the African National Congress, and less about the leadership contestation.
All right, Samkele, thank you so much for that update. That's SABC News politics reporter there, Samkele Maseko, just giving us a wrap of what transpired during the ANC's 4-day NGC this week in Boksburg.